Thank you. Jeffrey's right. I know a lot of African American Democrats who did not vote in the last election, but you know what they did not do? They didn't vote Republican. It's true. There's a lot of black Democrats who are the base of the Democrat Party who did not vote in the last election. And they tried to be name-called as sexist and all this stuff, but they were disgusted. Same way in which Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, and a lot of millions of others, as I said earlier in the segment, or earlier in another segment, are disgusted with the Republican Party. And many of us feel the same way. When I say us, I mean the disaffected people, right? Feel the same way. It's because no one's doing anything. No one's doing anything for us. So why should we go do anything for them? That's really what is at the heart of all of this. The Democrats that Jeffrey's talking about, I did want to talk about Michelle Obama. I will get to that. But the Democrats that Jeffrey's talking about, they feel like, well, where's mine? What have you done? You've done nothing for me. You let millions of people across the border. Now I'm competing with Juan and Julio for jobs. My kids are competing with Juan and Julio for jobs. Money in schools are going to English as a second language funding as opposed to computers and tutors. That's how they feel. And the Democrats doing nothing. Republicans come along and they may close the border. They may deport people, but those same African Americans are like, wait a minute, you're deporting Maria, who I work with, or whose daughter I went to college, whose daughter went to college with my son. You're deporting her. She's not done anything wrong. And then on our side of the fence, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson said, hey, release the Epstein files. No, we're not going to do it. You're a traitor, huh? We're not going to have any new wars. Go to war, huh? Not only just go to war, but then the deal you cut is worse than the one you screamed and hollered about Obama. We'll get to that later on in another segment. So everybody's disgusted. And let me say this. Everyone should be disgusted. Because the more of us on both sides of the aisle who are disgusted and either stay home or flip sides for one election, guess what? They're going to have to pay attention to us. Both sides will have to pay attention to us. Both sides will not have enough people that they can just snow with bumper sticker rhetoric. Boys out of girls sports. End Sharia law. Just stupidness. Stupid stuff that doesn't impact your life at all. Clean elections. Paper ballots. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of things. They're racist. Those kind of things. They're taking away our voting rights. Don't let it happen to you. Stupid things. That's why everyone's fed up. But if everyone either stays home or flips sides for one election, at least in one race, they will be made to pay attention to us. You see, the people who are yelling at you for either staying home or flipping sides or voting for a Democrat in one race, and like in my case, the people yelling at you, many of them make their money from those parties. Many of them, they will tell you, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. Why not? Let me ask you a question. Why not? I heard one of my coworkers here mention my name on his show. He says, hey, my coworker, Shelley Winter's going to endorse the Ossoff. I would never vote for a Democrat. Why not? Why wouldn't you ever vote for a Democrat? Why? How could you possibly say in 2026, in June of 2026, you'll never do anything? Why not? What if a Democrat came and said all the same things that you like? They want to cut the budget. That's not really a radical leftist progressive thing. Let's say they came to you and said, hey, you know what? I don't think we should fight any more wars. It's not a radical progressive thing. What if they came to you and said, hey, look, you know what? There's a lot of hospitals closing in rural Georgia. I think we need to keep them open. You're going to fight against that? Why would anybody say, I would never do something? I'd never go on a radio and say, I'll never do that. Well, there's probably one thing I would go on a radio and say I never do. But that's neither here nor there. But for real, how could you possibly say, I'll never? That's a talking point. That's radio stuff. I don't want to lose that part of my audience stuff. I'm a grown man. I was told a long time ago by my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my father, and the love of my life, the first woman I ever fell in love with. They all said the same thing at different points in my life. Never say never. Especially about voting. How could you possibly say that? You'll never do something? You'll never vote for somebody? Really? So you're just going to vote for the R and scream everybody else is on a plantation. Fascinating train of thought. Sorry, I had to go there because my name was mentioned. But let me, I want to talk about this Michelle Obama thing really quickly. Calling a woman a man is as disrespectful as it gets. It really is. Now, if you're saying this because you think she looks like one, that's on you, right? That's on you, right? Totally on you. The whole conspiracy theory stuff on the internet, let's take that off the table. Let's say you're just saying it because you think in your mind she looks like one. She's tall and statuesque. She's got a nice body. It must be a man. It's racist. Clear as day, it's racist. But let me go a little further about it. You know who we've got a long history of first ladies who are not the best lookers. Now, I'm not being disrespectful here. I'm just talking real, keeping it real. Since you all are keeping it real, they'd like to say Michelle Obama's a man. I saw a bunch of posts shared on Facebook saying Happy Father's Day to Michael, right? I'm thinking, oh, wow, these people think they're really funny. So Eleanor Roosevelt, no beauty queen. Let's keep it real. No. You want to do this? Let's do this. She was no looker. As a matter of fact, dare I say, yeah, she looked a little manly herself. But I would never call her that. As a matter of fact, I would never judge her on her looks because she was a great first lady. She's fought for all the right things, so that would never enter my mind to call her a man. But since you all think it's okay to call the first African-American first lady in the country, in a country's history, a man, let's go there. By the way, for many of you say, oh, how come it's okay for you to call Melania out of her name and get so bent out of shape when we call Michelle a man? Well, first of all, you were calling Michelle a man before you even knew who Melania was. That's point number one. Point number two is Michelle never wasn't a model who came here as a model on a work visa, living in New York as a model, and then married this uber rich guy as a model. See, I never disrespected her, never called her out of her name because that wouldn't be right. But since you all want to do this, since you all think it's so cute to post and share and do all of these things and call this woman a man, you want to disagree with her? Fine. You want to call her, I don't like the way she talks. I don't like that she's a lawyer. I don't like that she's educated. You want to say that, say it. But to call her a man and then get mad when someone says Melania was a work visa model? I'm telling you, man, that's why it's so hard to get people to vote for our side. Because you all are mean. And then you want to try and do what about? Well, what about what they call Melania? Well, you were calling Michelle Obama a man from 2007. You didn't even know who a Melania was. Because you're not that bright. So don't come back now and say, well, what about what you call Melania? Well, you were calling her a man in 2007 when the man first started to run. You were mad at things like fist bumps. Who fist bumps? Why are they doing a fist bump? This is why we can't get people. This is why the numbers are going down for us. Because so many of you out there are so mean-spirited, you don't even see it. You think it's cool. You think it's funny. You think everybody's laughing with you. But you don't realize the hundreds of thousands and millions of people who read that and say, I'm not going to vote the same way that guy's voting or that woman's voting. I'll either stay home or vote for the crazy people. You wondering why Democrat socialists are winning? It's shocking to you, isn't it? Take a look in the mirror. Maybe it's you they don't like. Maybe it's not that they like the Democrat socialists. Maybe it's just you hateful, non-empathetic, non-humans that people are turning on. Think about that. Think about it in that way. Shelley Winter Show. We'll be right back.